What's the deal, people? You know what it is, Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one, and this is from Season 2, Episode 6. We heard a lot about this episode from all the cast members who came on my channel during interviews and said we have to watch Episode 6. We knew this was going to be big, and it motherfucking was. So if you're down with recaps, reviews, and theories, make sure you subscribe, click that bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. Hit that thumbs up for your boy. Truly appreciate it. We have so much to talk about. I'm not going to waste any of your time. Let's get to it right now. The episode starts off where we left last week, and we see Boyd trying to plead his case to Kenny's mom of why he's done the things that he's done, why he's trying to keep everybody safe, and how he's trying to make sure everybody got home. Important thing I think he said here is that things are definitely changing, and he's trying to make everything good. Then Kenny busts in there, Gangster Kenny busts up in there, and he's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And Gangster Kenny's starting to get to me a little bit, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. After that, Boyd walks out and he goes over to the church where he sees the music box. And from this music box, all of a sudden, we see a ballerina pop up in here and start dancing around. This ballerina's dancing around. She's doing a whole bunch of spins and pirouettes and everything else. Boyd walks right over to the ballerina. She grabs his hand. They start doing a little dance together. And while they're doing this dance together, seems like everything is going good. While they're doing this dance together, all of a sudden, these worms appear right out of her mouth. And to me, these worms look like some type of fungus, some type of spores that were coming right through this woman's mouth. As it comes out of her mouth, all of a sudden, Boyd wakes up from the dream. He's still in there with Kenny and his mom, and he falls down and he bumps his head. Now, all of a sudden, we see Kenny's mom say, hey, we need to help him out, and Gangster Kenny goes away, and he starts letting you know that this is truly just a front. This is not what he truly is. He's just, fronting for everybody. After that, we switch up. We see Donna, we see Ellis, and we see Fatima, and they're loading the truck because of supplies, trying to take what they have here out of the colony house so everybody does not eat everything. And we see the guy there who plays, Donna punched in the face, who is really the actress's real life husband, in there sketchy about everybody, talking about what's going to happen with all the food and everything else. And I knew once they showed him this early in the episode that there's something was going to pop off with this cat. And because there was no other reason to show the guy, they didn't show him at all. And all of a sudden he just pops up, you know what I mean? So I knew something was going to break with this cat a little bit later, and it certainly did. But Donna say nothing, because we don't want to have people panicking. Then she jumps inside the pickup truck, and then she heads right out of there. After this, we go to the hospital, and Christy's up in the hospital, and while she is there, she's checking out her hairstyle. She starts digging through her girl's stuff, and she realized that her girl was on the way to rehab, that her girlfriend is back on the sauce. She's on that once a crackhead, always a crackhead type mission right here. So Chrissy's alarmed about this whole situation because she's like, we only have a certain amount of supplies here, and I can't risk you using stuff and then we have nothing else out here. Her girlfriend tries to storm off, and she's like, no, there's something going on. Boyd with Kenny tries to show Kenny that he has these worms in his hands, and he says that even though he can't see these worms at this particular time, that all of a sudden they start to hurt more. And now he feels pain from these worms. And it's ironic that where he started feeling pain for these worms is the bunker. And what happened in that bunker? That's where Jade first seen his vision, and that's where Victor escaped the massacre while he was there. But then once again, we get another appearance coming right out of this bunker is the ballerina. She comes outside of the bunker, and then she starts to do her dance once again after Boyd sees the ballerina box. But this time she's a little bit more feisty when she comes outside of that bunker. Since all this is happening inside of Boyd's head, he's the only one who can see this ballerina. Kenny starts thinking there's something going on with Boyd, something going on inside of his head that Boyd could be losing it. We then quickly go to Ellis, and he's trying to get Colony House straightened out, and Fatima is acting sus again. What's going on with this chick? Boyd goes to the clinic and he gives everything. He spills his guts. He says that these things in his arm, the bloodworms, are actually feeding on him. And the person who gave it to him, Martin he's talking about, said that he wanted to get him out of his body specifically because these parasites would not let him die. So now we know that these parasites are a part of long life. That's what Martin was trying to get rid of him. He didn't want him to die, and the parasites were keeping him alive. So we know that that's what these parasites are doing, and that's their purpose. We're going to talk about more of this stuff, dealing with that, as soon as I get to all my theories and predictions at the end of this video, right after I do the recap. So while he's telling her this, she doesn't believe him because all of a sudden nobody can see these bloodworms moving around in his arm. He can feel them, but they're not physically being shown. After Boyd pleads his case, we then see Christy go in the back, and who is there but Gangster Kenny's in the building. And she tries to explain to Kenny everything that she feels is going on here, and Kenny says straight up, "This is how it started for my father, and how everything set in with him, and how he started to lose his mind." And that's what they're going on with Boyd. They jump to the Matthews house, and they're there with Donna and Teddy's mom trying to ration out all of the food. And that's when Jim says, this is what the people would want us to do. They would want us to suffer and see how it affects us by removing the food from the issue and see exactly everything that people do in the wake of that, building up stress. Boyd is back in the hospital in the next scene, and we see the ballerina come again for the third time. But this time when she comes, she's not playing with this dude. She takes him, she throws him on the bed, and she starts to smother him with her hands and tries to basically suffocate this dude. His visions remind me of Tabitha more than anybody else's that he's getting there. We go back to Colony House, and the guy that Donna punched in the face, he starts going crazy, saying that the new people, Elgin and them, and the bus driver are all stealing food from everybody else. And there's no food left, and they're going to all get in trouble. This guy grabs a knife, and all of a sudden he turns around and stabs Ellis up, and Ellis gets stabbed in the chest. We then quickly see Father Khatri talking to Boyd. Father Khatri again is inside of his head, and Boyd is out here talking to him. Apparently he's talking out loud while Father Khatri's in his head. He's talking out loud to Father Khatri, trying to suss everything out that's been going on with him. After this, back to Colony House, Ellis is about to die. There's no way he can make it through the night because of the blood that is filling up in his lungs. So they have no choice but to go out at night and try to ride this man all the way to the hospital. So Elgin volunteers to drive. He gets up in the van. They throw Ellis in the back, and they do a mad dash out there trying to save Ellis's life to get him all the way to the clinic. Blood is just going all over everybody. Fatima is trying to save him. We're going to get you there. Just hold on. And I'm thinking Ellis is out of here. Yeah, when I'm seeing this whole scene play out right now, I'm thinking 100% that there's no way Ellis is going to survive. It's time to take somebody out anyway. So Ellis could be one of those characters that have to go. They eventually do make it to the hospital. When they do, they drag Ellis inside, put him on the cot, and he has lost so much blood, due to everything else going on, he needs a blood transfusion. But before they could do that, that's when Boyd says specifically he can't give it to him because he has these blood worms in him and he doesn't want to pass them over to him. So Kenny says, listen, give them to me. I'll take them, put them inside of my body, and you give Ellis this blood transfusion. So Gangsta Kenny, is doing the right thing at this particular time, saying that he would just take it, put him inside of his body, which is 100% noble of Gangsta Kenny. One of the best things that I've seen this cat do all season was offer himself up. But Boyd comes up with a different plan in this situation. He says, I got something else that I'm going to try out. They don't want him to do it, but Boyd then steps outside at nighttime with a knife and nothing else, no gun. And then he starts screaming at the top of his lungs to get the attention of the monsters. And who we got? We got Smile Monster. He comes to the call. He is the one that is shown. Boyd then confronts the Smile Monster. And I've always said that, listen, if bullets aren't working, you got to try something else here, right? So that's what Boyd definitely does. He's going to try something else. You see him cut himself in his hand, so he starts bleeding in his hand. And then he goes and cuts Smile Monster's right inside of his throat and puts his hand in there and says, your blood is my blood, puts the parasites in him, and Smile Monster apparently drops dead. The monsters take a look at him, see him laying there, and then after that, they just walk away. Because it seems like they've never seen anyone die before, or at least any one of them. They use the transfusion, they save Ellis, and then Donna starts to talk to the Matthews son, Ethan. After that, Fatima admits that she's pregnant, and this is why she's doing all of these things, all these mood swings, because she feels that she is pregnant. After that, we see Boyd and Kenny look out the window, and he says, we're going to see what happens when the sun comes up when that monster's laying there. And that's where the episode ends. All right, let's get to the theories, and I'm going to tell you exactly everything that I think is going on. Number one, if this monster does not burst into flames when that sun comes up, then everybody who's doing the vampire theories is shot, right? That gets thrown out the window. If it bursts into flames when the sun comes up, then the theory is valid. We're going to find out exactly why these monsters don't like to come out in the sunlight. Is it the sun that affects them? Next week, we're going to have 100% proof. Either way, are they vampires or are they not? We're going to find that out next week. Then we've seen one of these monsters finally get killed. It seems that weapons like knives can affect them. The bullets seem to do nothing to them, right? But the knife, the little knife, cut that motherfucker right in his throat, so they can be affected with knives. This to me says you need to get an axe, or you need to get some traps, and you need to start hacking these monsters up. If it was me and you have a dead body outside, if this guy is truly dead, it does seem like it. We're not sure. He may just rise up, but it did seem like he died the way everybody else walked away. That makes me believe that if you have a dead body, and I don't think it's going to burst into flames at all, because I never got into that vampire theory, I think what you have to do is have an autopsy. And if you're going to get an autopsy, check out my last video that I made, Alien Autopsy, where I explain why I believe that this is going to happen, and it seems like it's setting itself up for that to happen. Next, we got Fatima Prego. We always talked about why was there no kids. We know that there ain't no condoms up in this piece, but now we have 100% proof that she is pregnant and the seasons change and everything. That's what's going to happen here. Everyone is going to die off. They're changing the seasons because their plan is to kill everybody in this town. And how they're going to do it, they're going to flood the place out. I've talked about that in other videos. Go back and take a look at All Secrets Revealed video. I tell you exactly how they're going to drown everybody, kill everybody, wipe the board clean, and then start again. I bet you that this pregnancy that's inside this woman, Fatima, happens really fast. Like, one of these episodes, you're going to see her, she's going to have a little baby bump, and then all of a sudden, she's going to be 9 months pregnant. I don't think it's just going to be a slow pregnancy. I think it's just going to pop out of nowhere, and she's going to be giving birth real quick, much sooner than we ever expected. We have seen other people heal really fast, particularly Ethan, because they've been inside of this place, right? I think that they're speeding time up when it comes to everything in this spot, and that's what's going to happen here. When Donna gives a speech to Ethan about fear and how fear makes everybody heroes, I think that this is some type of fear factor type situation going on here. They ain't giving them no dead bodies or crazy stuff to eat, but it's everything else that's going on here. And these creatures could be living off of other people's fear. That's why they changed their tactics. That's why they put the rod through the girl's head, and at first they were screaming and they stopped screaming, because it seems like fear somehow motivates them to do what they do. With Ellis not dying, to me, that takes him off of the death list. I don't think they're going to almost make him die and then kill him off at the season, but it does put Fatima one step ahead of him and Donna one step ahead of her. So I still have Donna as number one person to die, and I still think that Kenny's mom is most likely the mole in this whole situation. But you tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll see you tonight with Phil the Issues Guy in the Escaping From podcast, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're gonna chop it up and go through everything, because most of us have Monday off. I know I do, because of Memorial Day weekend, and I'm going to spill my beans about everything. I got so much more to say. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.